What's up, everybody? It's Ramlin Ralph representing Levels Podcast and Vegas Sports Daily. I am joined. We have a very special guest that I went to introduce. He is a big fan of the podcast. He's been on a couple of times already, and I'm a big fan. He's not only a wonderful human involved in the sport of boxing, but he's a wonderful human being outside of boxing. And I'm blessed to know him. I'm blessed to call him a friend, Mr. Kenny Bayless. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet, Ralph. Anytime, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm still on a high from last week's show, baby. We got to talk about that. We're here, and I had to drag you away from your playoff sports because I know you're a big fan of baseball and basketball, especially your Bay Area sports teams. But man, we have to talk about probably one of the greatest, not just from me saying it. And again, I have my entities that I work for, and I'm not a hater, and neither is a lot of people out there. But we have to talk about this fight, arguably by some of the people that are in the business, fans, columnists, reporters, the best boxing match fight, whatever you want to call that brawl, since Hagler Hearns. And you were in the middle of it. You were dealing with it. First of all, we knew that was going to be a good fight, right? Everybody had talked about it. I know you were pretty happy when you got the assignment for that, because you've obviously been around those kids, especially in the bubble. You've already seen what they can do. And man, this thing turned out to be a rock'em sock'em all out brawl from the very get-go.
Yes, it did. And Ralph, we usually don't get our assignments until the night of the fight at our post-fight critique and our pre-fight critique, and then that's when I knew I was doing the fight, and you hear little snippets from people saying the main event's going to be a good fight, and that all goes with the territory, but yeah. Ralph, after the first round, and I mentioned it earlier, when Jose got knocked down twice, I'm thinking in my mind, well, shucks, maybe this fight will end soon, because Jose went down, but he got up and he took the shots well, but you just never know. But that was just the start. From that point on, it was on.
And it's crazy that you say that, because right from the get-go, even when you're looking at the broadcast, they mentioned Baranchek's body and how he looked. I mean, this kid has muscles on top of his muscles on top of his muscles, right? He is so cut up. And Sean is in good shape as well. They will show you at the weigh-in. I mean, people were commenting me like Baranchek's arms look like boulders. And you compare the two and you look like, well, this kid doesn't really have a chance in there. But people don't understand that Sean Cepeda has been fighting pro for a long time. He began fighting for the Zanford brand down in Mexico, and he's been around for a long time. Good fighter. A lot of people thought he had beat the champion in his last fight. So he's coming in on a hot streak. But I'm sitting down and I like to eat my dinner at the same time that I'm watching the fights, especially if my friends are involved. You were refereeing the fight. Bernardo Osuna's play-by-play, which I didn't know he was going to do it. I'm happy that he was on there. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn it, I haven't even started cutting up my steak. And we have 2 knockdowns already in the first round. And as soon as the second knockdown goes down, I'm looking at you because I know what you're looking for already. And you told me off the air 15 minutes ago that you looked into Chon's eyes and Cepeda was okay. And you were comfortable with letting them go ahead and go back at it because you were looking at him and he seemed to be okay, even after the second knockdown.
Even after the second knockdown, he got right up. I usually go through my 3 fight command when the fighters knock down, and that is, when a fighter's down and they get up, the first thing I ask is, are you all right? And then I expect a response. And then I'll take a step back or two and motion to them to come to me so that I can see, physically what their movement looks like. And then when they do that right, then I stick my hands out and ask for them to give me their gloves, to put their gloves in my hands. And
Okay.
then when they do that, they do it all successfully, then I'm gonna let the fight continue. I didn't even have to get to the third step. When he got up, he was ready to fight.
Right. Right. And just real quick, let me go back real quick. The touching, the grabbing of the gloves. Can you explain? Because a lot of people don't understand that. That people, I've had people sitting next to me like, why are the referee wiping the gloves off? There's a specific reason why you guys do that, Kenny. Can you just really quick, before we move on to the rest of the fight, explain why it is that you grab the gloves and you motion to not really clean them off, but you motion kind of like in a jiggling fashion? Can you explain why you do that?
Yes, Ralph. Years ago, when the surface of the was different than the surface of the ring now, they used to have a square box at rings, and inside of that box is what was called rosin. And the fighter would step in the rosin and kind of work the bottom of their soles in it, and then step into the ring. And they did that because the surface of the rings between the sweat and the water, etc., can get slick, and it could possibly cause.
Okay, looks like we're.
And when a fighter went down, we would grab their gloves and we would wipe them off inside of our shirt to get anything that was on that may have gotten picked up from the canvas to the gloves.
Okay.
But
all right.
now,
So
in today's time, we still do it.
Okay. So
we still do it today. A lot of fighters are wear trunks and it's got sequences on it. And during the course of the fight, those sequences can pop off of their shorts and land on the canvas or on the ring. And if they get knocked down and from the sweat and everything else, catch one of those little sequences on their glove, and then by chance throw a punch and that little sequence goes into the fighter's eye, then that's why we still do it.
All right. So you fans that are watching that did not know that, just to reiterate, back in the day, if you didn't hear that, there was rosin and all kinds of stuff they brought into the ring on their feet. When they would get knocked down, obviously, to break the fall, their hands would touch on the canvas and they would wipe the gloves to get whatever was on their gloves off. To this day, sequins, feathers, little diamond bling, whatever's on their trunks, if they fall down, they still do it to this day to make sure their gloves are clean. Perfect. So now we have the two knockdowns, right? Now we're already going on in the fight, round 3, round 4, they're exchanging knockouts. I do believe that, and Mercedes is on and telling you, miss you and love you guys, see you soon. That's from Mercedes, Kenny, she's telling you hi. So we've got, we're already on to round 4 and 5, and we have multiple knockouts, right? And we talked about this before. Not only is it difficult for judging on the outside, because now you've got to really pay attention when you have a knockout from both corners in the same round on who's going to win that fight. But for you, there's so much action going on, and I want to touch on one in particular. There was a knockdown when Baranchik had his whole body turned around and was kind of falling back onto the side. And Nevada right now is one of the only states in America that is actually doing review and has great quality referees like Joe Cortez, Jay Nady, that can see that and review it. Now, you didn't call it a knockdown. Did they go back and look at that and say, okay, we looked at it and it wasn't a knockdown? And obviously, it's a judgment call, either right or wrong. We don't know the rules. If a fighter is turned completely back around like that, it's basically at your discretion, because you are the referee, to say, okay, yes, that was a legitimate punch. I am going to count that a knockdown. Or no, this guy's head was turned all the way around like the Exorcist facing backwards. We're not going to count that as a knockdown.
Well, Ralph, you're right. It's a judgment call. And because Jose Cepeda kind of got turned around and then went down, is the reason why I just ruled it a slip. Now, because in the state of Nevada, we do have instant replay, I asked the replay official to check it out, because in the event that I make a mistake, the replay official will catch it and then alert me that it was a knockdown, and then at that time I can make the correction with the judges so that we get it right. And because of the a multitude of knockdowns in that fight, it was tough for the replay official to catch up with the number of knockdowns with the production camera showing the knockdowns, because
right.
when they were trying to find one knockdown, another knockdown place.
Correct. Correct.
They had their hand in the production trying to pull up the various knockdowns, because there were so many that took place.
Right. And again, you guys are the best in the world. You guys do your due diligence. And I think that at some point, they actually went back and reviewed it. And I saw either Jay Nady or Robert Byrd motion to you, never mind on that replay, we're good. So I do believe that your call was right. And I try to tell people, hey, that was a judgment call. They reviewed it. They didn't call them back to the table like they did the previous time we had a replay. Which you guys got handled, and the reason being, again, we're gonna touch on that, is that you guys are doing the COVID protocol. We don't have the instant replay right next to the ring like we normally would at the Samstown fights or any other fight pre-COVID, and they waived it off. So you actually made the right call. And somebody asked me about that. I said, hey, these guys are the best in the world. It's a judgment call. The fighter was turned completely around. The review officials had a chance to look at it. They cleared it, everything was good, and we moved forward. So tell me how you're feeling at this point where we are in the last round of the fight for the stoppage. Cepeda gets hit with a right hand, okay? And still, there's boxing fans, Kenny, that have been watching the sport for 15, 20, 25 years and do not understand the rule about the ropes. And the broadcasters tried to do a good job. Bernardo Osuna did a good job of explaining the situation. But just briefly, before we get on to the next topic, can you explain exactly what the actual rule is on a fighter going back? Because some people are really confused about that.
Yeah, well, it's a judgment call again. Anytime a fighter gets hit, and as he apparently appears to be going down, and he's close enough to the ropes or in the corner to where that prevents him from going down, it's the judgment of the referee to rule it a knockdown. And in that situation, I felt that Jose Cepeda would have gone down if it wasn't for him being near the corner, and basically that's what prevented him from going down. So though he back in position to want to continue fighting, I had ruled it a knockdown, so I had to give him a mandatory 8 count, and then after the mandatory 8 count, he appeared to be okay, like in the other knockdowns. Then I let the fight continue.
Now, see, and I'm going to agree with you.
And if I can, no, the other thing I was going to add, Ralph, is the other thing that's good for instant replay, and this also happened in the fight, is that one of the fighters had gotten cut, and from all the action, I wasn't. Well, I ruled it a punch, but I could look at the instant replay official, which was Bird at the time, and asked him to ask the production, you know, the production camp to look at it to see if either there was a clash of heads or was it a punch, and it was a punch that caused the cut.
Yes, and the production truck actually had a really good shot of that, and you were right on spot, bullseye with that call. And as a matter of fact, which I've been telling everybody, the fact that Cepeda ended up into the ropes on that last knockout that he suffered, I think really saved him from a hard fall. Baranchik hit him with a solid right hand, and if it wasn't for those ropes, I really think he would have hit really hard. Now, he was okay. You let him go on, and he must have been okay, because within 27 seconds later, he delivers that straight left hand and knocks him out. Now, you have had your share of these type of knockouts. The Pacquiao-Hatton knockout, which Hatton is completely asleep before he even hits the floor. The Marquez-Pacquiao knockout, which Manny is asleep before he hits the floor. Those are completely solid, 100% amazing shots. This left hand, although it wasn't Chon's strongest punch, it landed right on the spot where you would essentially put someone to sleep. Tell us real quick, briefly, the protocol when you are the first person there in charge. You are the first person to deal with that situation. Fighter A knocks fighter B down and out completely, no movement. What is the protocol there for you guys? I think you handle it perfectly, but just from your end so the fans understand, what's the protocol there for you when that happens?
Well, I'll tell you this, Ralph. All the 7 other knockdowns prior to that knockdown, those guys were fighting on adrenaline and just high energy, which I could tell just from how well they were able to get up and address me checking them out and then continue. But when Ivan got hit with that shot, I knew that shot, and just like you mentioned, was the same kind of shot Pacquiao hit Ricky Hatton with, or Juan Manuel Marquez hit Pacquiao with. You just know, and when Ivan got hit, when he went down, I didn't even start counting. I observed him, and from observing him, I knew that he wasn't going to get up. I mean, he was done, and at that time, I just waved it off.
Now, you always seem to be in the perfect spot, and again, for referees, and we know plenty of them. We have mutual friends that are referees. Here you are taking care of that situation. You know, you got to be at the right spot, and you were there. And every single time that has happened to you in a fight, you're always there, right on spot. You always make the right decisions. And again, there are a lot of judgment calls in these fights, and that's why you guys are the best of the best, because you guys have done your job over and over again. People don't understand that you guys go over every single fight. As soon as these fight cards are over, you guys regroup and talk about it before you guys go home. You guys huddle, and if there's a calling out session, hey, you missed this or you do that. I mean, there's no hiding behind what you guys do, and that's what I think makes you guys so great, is that you guys are able, judges and referees together, are able to learn from these experiences as a team, not separate, and that's what makes you guys in Nevada the very best of the best. Kenny, you are a tremendous referee. We are so thankful that you're able to come on. And I tell you, this is the greatest fight. I watch them all since Hagler Hearns. To me, in my opinion, just the back and forth action we had, the resilience of Cepeda, the resilience of Baranchik. Thank God he is safe. Thank God he was able to get up and go get checked out of the hospital and got cleared, and everything is fine. And he may be able to box again, whether he wants to or not. Obviously, that's going to be his decision. But for you, my friend, the beat goes on. And if I was in there fighting, And I'll say this again, there's only a few people that I would want in there to referee that I know that I would be safe and taken care of. And you are obviously one of them. So we really thank you for all the hard work that you do. It's not easy being a referee of your status. A lot of people on social media like to play armchair quarterback, and they like to play, referee from the couch, but they have no idea how many hours, how many lessons, how many tapes. I mean, you guys still go to conferences multiple times a year to sharpen your iron, so to speak, so that you don't get lackadaisical in there and you are on top of your game. You have every right not to go to any of those things anymore, but yet you attend them because you want to stay on top of your game, rules, regulation, rule changes, instant replay, and we can't thank you enough for the job that you do for us as fans. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ralph. And I would just want to say for Baranchek and for Cepeda, they are true warriors. And you're right, Ralph. I was at Hagler Hearns when they fought at Caesar's Palace years ago. And to be involved in a fight of this magnitude, I mean, they just don't get no better than that.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can say. Just, right?
Yeah, the doctor did a great job at the close of the fight when I weighed true professionals here on the commission, starting with Bob Bennett all the way down to our timekeepers and inspectors. And you're right, we go to seminars, we stay on top of the game, and we stay on the top of the game because of our love for the game. So thanks for having me on your show, Ralph, and you take care and God bless, brother.
God bless you too. And when I get to Vegas in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna need your special oatmeal. People don't know about your oatmeal. Your oatmeal is makes me like Popeye, man. I don't know what's in it, nothing but fresh ingredients, but I turn into the Hulk after I eat all of that, baby. That's why I think you're so young still, man.
You got
all right. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you
for
joining us. Okay. Take care, man. We'll see you. All right, guys. There you have it. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So, there you guys have it, guys. Kenny Bayless, I tell you, it is, as we welcome the Sportsnista and Jeremy Long back in to our show. Look, I'll say it time and time again. I've already watched that fight like 9 times. And again, people were ragging my ass because, it's a top-ranked fight. I'm not supposed to be excited about other promotions, but I'm not a hater. You have to give credit where credit is due. Those guys went at it, man. And it was crazy. CC was texting me like, I don't know how many cuss words I could put in a text message, but I was like, I think I had my limit because I just couldn't believe what was happening. I mean, especially these kids were getting knocked down. And I think that they just had the will. They didn't want to lose, man. It meant everything to them. And, it's tough on Kenny. Like, you got multiple knockdowns. You got judging situation you got to worry about. Then there was that call where, the fighter was turned completely around. And I had to ask him about it because, people were ragging him about that. And you can't rag somebody about that when obviously you don't know the situation. You don't know the rules. If a fighter's completely turned back around and a referee doesn't like that punch and doesn't deem it legal, it is at his discretion to call that a knockdown or a slip. And I think he made the right call. So,
well, and it's happening in real time. He doesn't have the luxury of thinking about the call. He has to be in that moment and make a call as it's happening. And so they got it right in the end. And man, it was an incredible, incredible fight. I've seen it, I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8 more times since. Best 5 rounds in a long time. I'm still going to go with Hagler Hearns as being the better overall fight. Nobody's touching that fight for fight of the year so far.
Yeah. And I was going back. I don't know if you guys were doing this as well, but I had the UFC on. Then I would go back to ESPN. And then, I was switching back and forth. Yeah. And then as soon as the Chon fight started, I was already ready to hit that damn button. The back button, I was watching on my Fire Stick because I had to back out, then go into UFC, let it buffer, get back in there. And as soon as that first round hit, I threw my damn
Like, this is
I
it.
threw my remote control down. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
If I miss Holly Holm, okay,
Yeah.
I can replay that because I'm not changing this fight. Because 10 seconds, you miss 10, 15 seconds of that fight, you could miss, a knockdown. So it was pretty nuts, man.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? What's going on, Jeremy?
Man, guys, yeah.
Got our bandwidth straightened out. Everybody's back in the seats.
Yeah, I'm gonna hook Kenny up with the way to get on his laptop, and we got to see his backyard. Like I was mentioning, his backyard. We were off the air. The man's got a backyard like Miyagi style. He's got like
it looks
and laying grass and a back sauna back there. Like,
and I can't believe he's got all that grass here in Vegas.
yeah, he got crabgrass, man, which is very hard to grow. I mean, if you're not on top of it, that dude is like every time I call him when I'm in town. He's always doing a project. I mean, he can build a house from studs and 2x4 to stucco to finish things. He can build a garage, fix cars. The dude is just like a man of all trades, man.
You gotta go over there. So actually our next show is you over there making oatmeal and like having him tell you a story.
Yeah, no, I'll film the video. We can play it back on here. I mean, the first time he gave it to me, it was like this odd purple color, and I was like, okay,
berries.
Blue. Well, it was because of the fruit, right? The blueberry when he mixed it had dyed the oatmeal. So I'm like, okay, they're like, because he and his wife are very big on natural stuff. They grow their own food on these water towers, which are awesome. And he actually said, you pickles. I'm like, absolutely. Like as a kid, I would put sweet tart in there, and I'll be going to town on them. He said, taste this leaf. And I tasted it, and the dill leaf, I had never seen it in that form before. Mm-hmm. Tree food growing on the tower, and that stuff was amazing. He made me a salad from all the lettuce and spinach and whatever they were growing on the tower, and it was probably one.
It's inside.
Inside, yeah, inside water tower. They have 3 of them, and they're just phenomenal. So they're how to eat better, and also, yes, they believe in Juice Plus. Thank you, Mercedes. I appreciate that. Okay. They have a brand of vitamin that they take called Juice Plus, and it's a concentrated 1 full day supply of fruit. And I tell you, man, this thing gets you so hyped up.
I used to take it back in the day. Actually, I think my pusher moved away, and I said, because it's like the Monavie or whatever. But like, yeah, somebody airborne, somebody got to sell it to you, or you sell it yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you guys probably talked about UFC on your show. I want to just kind of touch your brains a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fight was a little.
It was trash, dude.
Well, okay, so I'm glad that you said it because you are, number one on the Instagram video. You were there for like 3 weeks, which is.
It's crazy.
And for those who don't understand what I'm saying, when you go to Instagram and you're in the IGTV, you hit the search, whatever you're searching for, you were right there, number one for like 2.5 weeks. I was trending. Partner in Crime is right there. It was a 7-second clip, and it stayed there for 3 weeks. There was nobody shaking their ass, nobody showing their boob, nothing like that. It was you for 3 weeks, number one. Look at you.
Hey, imagine if there was ass shaking.
All right, so tell me what you think. I thought that Holly Holm has really good movement. Her footwork has been there since she was a boxer. That was the game plan, but I didn't think that the fight would get so dull like that, especially coming from watching what the hell I was watching next door.
Man.
And I come over and I'm like, dude, like, what is the deal here? I mean, your thoughts, guys. You guys are the UFC MMA experts here on this panel, so I'm just curious to know what you guys were thinking about there, what you thought about it.
Yeah, it was fun to see that Holly Holm is not done yet at 38 years old. She came in with seems like she came in with a purpose, with some vigor. I know, in the lead up into the trash talk and everything, Aldana was kind of instigating that or indicating that this was maybe a passing of the torch. She was the next generation. She was the young, hungry lion coming in, and she was going to take the spot. And Holly Holm proved once again that hell no, I'm not done yet.
She was a hungry lion. She got fed some knuckle sandwiches.
Yeah, she got fed all right. She got that old fashioned Joe Jackson ass whooping. She beat her from side to side, man, and she took off her belt, she took off her shoes, she was throwing everything at her, man. The only thing we were missing in that fight was a knockout, which we almost got via head kick. I don't know how Aldana ate that head kick and kept walking, but she did. That same head kick that put Ronda Rousey to sleep, knocked her into retirement. It was crazy good to see, but at the end of the day, you also have can Holly, most likely she's put herself in line for maybe another title shot, but can she beat Amanda Nunes? Can she win these title fights? I don't think it's there, but I still think she's a pet above most of the ladies in that division.
She's like the top of the second tier.
Yeah.
So
we almost call them gatekeepers, but
she's a little better than a gatekeeper. I mean, if Arena had cut off the cage, it was almost like she was getting a sparring lesson from her coach, who was like, if you do not cut off this cage, I'm going to kick your ass all over this place until you start doing it. She couldn't do it. I don't know. She could have, listen, I've never been kicked in my head like that, and punched around. So she was rattled, and it's understandable. But man, it was like coaching, nothing was getting to her, and she just took a beating.
Yeah. And it even allowed, even Holly kind of started slow. Even though she was fired up and she was running around real good, she kind of started slow. Wasn't throwing a whole lot of heavy combinations, and then picked up the pace when she felt that she could do whatever she wanted to do, because there was no answer. There was going to be no comeback for it. So, the fight was there for her to win if she could find a way to cut off the cage and keep Holly from bouncing around. She looked like she was on something, man. She was on crank.
She was on crank.
She was like, that's why I was like, man,
she had some bounce to her. She had some style.
Walking back. You see her?
When I take my Phentermine pill at 6 a.m., that's how I get through my workouts. But
it was frustrating that Jermaine was not at least a co-main on that card. She could have headlined it. I understand why it's Holly. Holly does bring more eyeballs. She's got greater marketing power for whatever it's worth. But Jermaine, like, that fight was better than every fight on the card.
I agree. I do want to ask you guys, because you guys follow this more than I do, obviously. What's going on with these COVID tests out there? Has anybody even been testing positive at all out there? I see my friend AL3, who was the official DJ, and he's out there for 5 weeks.
Yeah, there was a positive test recently.
He shows pictures of these guys bringing the food to his room, and they look like they're walking into a biohazard PPE going on. And he tells me, he's like, man, I'll tell you, these guys are taking everything super serious out here. Because it could be, look at what's happening in the NFL. It's getting to a point where the Cardinals might not even play because some knucklehead on the Jets isn't following protocol. There's no bubble for football, and we're going to start seeing these things happen. So
sure. I'm
just curious to see, what those numbers are looking like, because I don't know what they are as far as the
there was
MMA.
Just one Fight Island actually. Yesterday, I think it was Rafael dos Anjos actually tested positive. So RDA is out. Might see Michael Chandler come in. I'm hearing that, so that could be interesting. But there are tests. But so these guys are testing positive in a separate bubble. From what I understand, it's locked down. There's a bubble within the bubble. There's a zone that you cannot get into until you pass your final COVID test. So I think the protocol's doing what it's supposed to do. It's catching people before they actually get into close proximity. Problem is these gyms, dude. Problem in the gyms, like
Hey, that's why
COVID
I go to
just
my
can't stay
gym at
out of them.
5 a.m. I go to my gym at 5 a.m. If it's 7 o'clock when there's too many people in there, I just don't go, or I work out at home.
Yeah, you get down to a local level like that with gyms, unable to control the flow of people in and out because they depend on that money to keep their doors open. But at the same time, they don't have the money to test and bubble and things like that. Even higher level gyms. So anyone coming in there, a secretary or a guy on his workout, his
Capriati's
an hour
guy.
off or something like that, and they have it. It's one of those things, and it can cause a spread real quick. And a lot of these guys, let's look at it. We see in MMA a lot of positive tests coming from the Brazilian teams. And these are, unfortunately, or however you just want to look at it, socioeconomically, these are usually poor areas and poor fighters, and these the bubbles aren't as done as well, I should say, because there's lack of funds, there's lack of resources to keep it at that level. So you see a lot of positive tests coming from Brazil and things like that, and it's just kind of one of those things, So, but I think so far from the beginning, since UFC was the first major sport back, so to speak, right as boxing was getting off too. But I mean, they've done a pretty good job, but
Yeah.
And do you think also as well though the jujitsu of being so close and having to work on those moves with being right face to face and
Heck
face to
yeah.
neck? I mean, they're if someone's even asymptomatic and you're practicing rolling around with three people, I mean, dude, like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Stuff's
just
coming
crazy.
out of people's orifices all over the place, man. It's like it's inevitable that you're gonna get some juice on somebody.
Oh, man.
So
I hate
it's
that. You know what? I
Hey,
really
you
hate
didn't even be on a
that.
balcony and take your mask off and still. Oh, that's another.
yeah.
I
You
hate
know who we
that.
should have
Like
on?
that.
We should get Jorge Capatillo on. And because Jorge had COVID-19 and there was an outbreak in his gym. I think they've been good since, but it'd be good to know, what do these gyms need to do in order to keep the fighters. And listen, if I'm a promoter, I'm hot as fish grease. If you show up to my event full of COVID,
Yeah,
man, you got
yeah,
one job is to get here COVID free. That's it.
yeah. I think Capatillo was actually on the top ranked card in one of the undercard fights.
Yes,
It was
yes.
right.
He was in
Yeah,
the
I thought I
bubble.
saw him. Yeah.
You
You
know,
know, it's, go
no,
ahead,
go
Jay.
ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh no, I was gonna. The other news kind of coming in the MMA world is as we're kind of chatting in about things going on. We may see the return of one Conor McGregor agreeing to a fight, at least via Twitter, and allegedly via contract too with Dustin Poirier. Dustin and UFC, I think, are angling for 2021. The fight being made. Conor McGregor insisting that it's got to be 2020. So he said he's ready to go in November or December and wants one of those cards. Why do you think? Why do you think that he's 2020?
Two reasons: dollars and cents. Number one, the dollars. He's supposed to donate $500,000 to Dustin's charity. That's called a tax write-off. And if you get it in before the end of this year, it goes on your 2020 taxes. Second thing, cents. He still has a court case to go through. So it would make perfect sense for him to get them nuggets now because he might be tied up, at least pleading his case, if not having to deal with it.
Hey, he hasn't
early 21.
He hasn't fought since the beginning of the year too, and he is a man of certain tastes, and he's grown accustomed to those tastes. And hey, even though he does have a very accomplished whiskey brand.
He's rich.
And
Mega
all
rich.
that, but still, hey, when you're, what is he? Is he 31, 32 now? I mean, he's the prime is kind of ending, and he barely gets in the cage as it is. So, and you kind of start going when you look at it and start going, okay, I need to have some money. What can I do for a quick $15, $20 million in real quick? Let me go face a guy that I've already shellacked. And
it's like they're saying an exhibition, not like an actual fight. I don't know what that means. Like it's a charity exhibition. Hey there, Monisha, one half of Girl Chat Sports. Check them out on Wednesdays.
And look at this right here. Don't let anyone in backstage here.
Who this?
Oh my goodness.
Heck no.
You guys are live still. Hey, what's going on?
Mike, why are you muting yourself? You gotta jump into the chat and then you go
He's muting himself and he's putting his mask on. What's going on?
No, because I had the Southwest gas guy and Cox kind of finish up the rest of my cable stuff. Yeah. Hey, Ralph, you see this?
I need that. I know you ain't using that. Let me get that. I need that. I know you ain't using it. You out and about everywhere. You the one probably you got.
I use it every day. So when you get those phone calls that frustrate you, those things that don't work, I just like.
Let's see. I want to see the Ryan Garcia. Are you as good as Ryan on that thing? Let's see.
Listen. Who do you think taught Ryan Garcia?
Man, so you moved into your new place. You said Southwest Gas. They hooking you up with some utilities.
Yes. But hold on. You see, I was about to enter the studio, then I realized, hold on. I set everything up backwards because of my laptop. So I had to reverse everything. And that's why it took me a little minute. But I'm back here.
I'm going to tell you something. You are the most active. I thought I was active in Vegas with all the stuff I got to do out there. Man, you are the most active individual in Las Vegas. If you're not,
I'm trying to keep up with you guys, man.
Man, I'm going to tell you guys something, and I want to get your opinion on it. And this is actually kind of a personal thing that I wasn't going to talk about, but we just got news today that, and I still consider him a friend, but since we're going to talk about the MMA, and I'm going to be in this platform, we have to talk about this. Alberto Del Rio, Jose Rodriguez actually got indicted today, or I found out the news today. On charges. And let me tell you something, okay? And we could talk about this for 20 episodes. When you get in this business, when you become a reporter at that level, like you, CC, and Jeremy, you're running your podcast with all these people, and Mike, you're over here making deals with Vegas Sports Daily with the football teams and the D-backs and the Suns and whatever, and everything around it. You can't help but to get close to people. Me personally, when I meet these guys, whether it's MMA guys or boxing guys or whoever, and I understand where they're coming from with the fans and what they got to go through every single day. It's hard to not become friends with them. But I do want to just say that everybody has to deal with the lifestyle of being an athlete like that. I'm not saying that whatever these guys like Connor do are right. You don't throw chairs in fucking loaded buses. You don't do shit like that. You don't go and hit 70-year-old men just because they don't want to drink your whiskey. But when you're around areas like that, certain things happen to you. And I just want to say, whether it's Conor McGregor or Alberto Del Rio, whoever else it may be, we got to give two sides of the story, the fair and just access that we give to someone that says, oh, shit, look at what they're talking about this guy. This guy's guilty as hell. And we do that. We don't do it subconsciously. It just happens that as soon as you hear a story, whether you want to believe it or not, you always never forget what you're reading, right? Whether you want to hear that side of the case or not. And it's tough because I just want to get your guys' opinions on that because, it's happened before, even in the wrestling industry with him and with Paige. It was all over the place. Could it just be the lifestyle just gets to people? Or do we have to hear both sides of the case before we can judge people on what happens?
Well, with Del Rio, he's been charged with kidnapping and sexual assault. So it's a very serious charge. Former WWE, I think, champion, and now he's last with Impact Wrestling, I believe, might go to charges.
And Fatino Ortiz. That was the new thing is that I met him when he was training for his fight with Tito Ortiz. And not to get into the details of the case, but people tend to kind of throw themselves at individuals like that. And like I said, you never know what's going on. But again, I interrupted you, but your your thoughts.
So when it comes to something like sexual assault, that is a charge that will ruin a lot of lives, especially the victim. So I want to hear a little bit more. All I saw was the headline of it. He was indicted, so they obviously do have evidence to support their case in Texas, I think it is, in San
Right.
Antonio, where he is. But when it comes to victims of sexual assault, it's not about like was she in the wrong place at the wrong time, was she promiscuous. That has everything to do with power and force and the intent on the perpetrator to commit that crime. And you're right in that there's a lot of access for a lot of these men and women. When you achieve a certain level of success, people are throwing things at you, but most people don't commit sexual assault because
I agree.
they have access to free booty.
I agree. And
I mean,
that's the thing.
I'll make it brief. You know, with cases like this, obviously you need more time because you have to evaluate the circumstantial evidence, and then you have to see, like, was she at fault? Was he at fault? As the sports leader just alluded to, but you know, I'll reference what happened last year. I'm not going to say any names, but you know, sometimes there's things on video, and case closed. But
What you mean not gonna say no names? Wait a minute. What I miss?
No.
What's on video?
You know, what?
You pulling
I
on
know who
AJ?
he's alluding,
What's
I know
that?
who he's alluding to, and he's doing us a favor. Thank you, Mike. I'm looking out for you. I see.
Okay.
Yes. But you know, obviously, it just takes time to build things up because you know some people are targets. Yeah, oh, they're famous, they're wealthy. So how
Yes.
can I acquire of getting half of their wealth? You know, and like to me, I'm not really adding much, but I just know I just like to sit and wait until all the facts are presented because it could be anything, man. And Jeremy, you take the mic. I'm about to be like Ralph and grab me a drink.
You know, these cases, are always very serious, and you want to wait for all the facts and everything. But you know, when it comes to, especially if you are in combat sports, if you're a boxer or you're an MMA or anything like that, charges of assault of any kind, sexual or physical or anything like that, are taken with a grain of truth within the court of public opinion because of the, you know, what you do for a living and everything. We saw just a while back here in Las Vegas with Nick Diaz being accused of really incredible stuff, you know, and ultimately it all goes away, you know, whether I believe the charges were dropped. I don't want to say with certainty because I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, it's just kind of one of those things. If you are in combat sports, you know, and if you assault someone, whether it's true or not, or it's alleged or whatever, it's always taken with it always garners more eyeballs for clicks and things like that because of what you do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you were an accountant that did it, yes, it's still horrible. Yes, it doesn't matter, you know, what it is, but not as many people are curious, you know, compared
Correct.
to you're a fighter or something like that. So
Right.
you hope for the best. You hope someone would do this to another human being, but
If you did,
if
you
you
know,
did,
you get what you
deserve
get.
to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jeremy,
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ralph. I was
no, I was just gonna say, I just want to say that, you know, before you give your statement, that let this be a lesson learned to my young fighters and my young friends that are getting into sport that are watching this, and we'll make this. We're gonna cut this section up because I really want these guys to understand. The moment you start making any kind of money or any kind of followers on Instagram or any kind of thing, headway on social media, trust me, people are watching you, and you need to be very, very careful. Both sides of the case, not just you know, the men, the women and the men. I mean, you got some men that are looking to cause issues as well, just not one sided as far as of gender. It is anybody that is in some kind of place of stature of moving up in the world, whether it's athlete or anything. You just got to watch out, man, because everybody right now is looking to cause issues, and there's bad people out there. We got to be careful, guys.
Yeah, and I want to be really clear too that I'm not in any way saying that people are targets and that's why sexual assault happens. If anything, it's the woman who's a target when sexual assault happens, and so
Right.
you don't have to be wealthy and or famous to have people want to take advantage of you. But in most of these cases, most of them, not all, but most of them, these perpetrators have done what they were accused of doing. It's a very small percentage where there's the woman lied or she made something up and she just wanted money. It is not even 1% of all cases.
Yeah.
That I ain't gonna say no percentage. I'm saying a very small. So
Right.
I'm curious to find out a little bit more about this victim. Is she okay? And I always read the affidavit, so I'll let you know what the
Yeah,
actual charge
you gotta get that.
document is.
Especially in these
I'm
cases
kind of buttoning it up.
where Alberto Del Rio, by his stage name, is accused of such grievous bodily harm and everything. Again, you look back at his profession, you look back at what he does, and prior relationships and things that he had going on. Believe victims, but believe facts. And is he capable of it? Absolutely, everyone is. But I think it's one of those things that it's always a tough thing for courts to, unless it's just open and shut stuff, in which we don't have access to these files, so we don't know. So it's just us.
Because it doesn't sound improbable.
Can I reference somebody real quick? Like, look at like a sexual predator who is in prison right now. Darren Sharper, former New Orleans Saints defensive back. He was doing this for years. He had everything, man. He had the money, he had the looks, he had the ladies, he had the money, but he still was a sexual predator. It's a power.
Well, it's a power thing. It's certainly a deviant behavior. There's something gone wrong in the wiring in the brain. It's not access to it that makes someone commit assault.
And again, no one is above anything. I mean, look what they're doing to Ronaldo now. This guy is the king of sports. He is the most wealthy athlete in the world. You could take a case for Floyd and everything else he does on the outside, but pure sports, and Ronaldo is king. He is the king of the world, and he is being brought to the U.S. to get indicted. So young men, young women, anybody, watch yourself.
Thank you very much, Ralph. I was just getting ready to say that. That case was supposed to be closed, and then they reopened it. Just
a couple days ago.
New information. Yep. And it's coming right back here, to Las Vegas. And I actually pulled that up while Jeremy was talking, because he said something that triggered me mentally that made me want to bring this up. U.S. judge Ronaldo rape case in Las Vegas toward trial. Cristiano Ronaldo's last fight with the woman who accused that international soccer star raping her in a Las Vegas suite. So there you go. It's right there. Paid Mayorga $375,000. But guess what? It's brought back.
Well, I mean, it's not uncommon for assault and rape victims to not want to testify. They might get to a certain point and think, especially if it's involving someone like Ronaldo, you are automatically the most hated woman on a whole bunch of lists. So I don't know. I still want to hear more.
Yeah.
I ain't saying he ain't do it, and I'm not saying that he did.
And again, and I know you're a big advocate for this, CC, and
again,
I know by no means
be a voice for women, because
I get you, and by no means I want to make myself clear too, and just say that in no way am I sticking up for Alberto. To be honest with you, it really hurts me to talk about it because he's a friend, and I for me. When we're close,
have you talked with him recently? I mean, because he had to know the
charges. I haven't, and that's the thing is like. When you're with this guy, he cares of like the kids come up to him and he's cool and you just don't know. Like again, you just never know nowadays what's going on, because it's like you're with him and he's seeing these kids and he goes out and he's good to everybody that walks up to him. I mean, we went to a haunted house last October and he took pictures with like 200 people and they were just loving it and he it's just you never know, and that's
you never know. We got to hear more.
Yeah, and again, that's why I want to reiterate to these kids that if they watch this segment, you have to be careful. You can't just be going around there thinking you guys can do whatever you're going to do, because it will catch up to you. If they're going to bring someone who's a billionaire, soon to be in Ronaldo, back to the U.S., they can bring anybody, and you are not above anything at all. So
one other thing I want to add before you guys move on. I have a friend who's out of state. She is a reporter, and she just came out last week, and she said this on Twitter that, unfortunately she was raped 4 years back, and she just finished counseling and therapy after 4 years, and she felt so confident to say, I'm happy to be out in public again, and instead of just being secluded or isolated in certain areas. And she was afraid of like certain men, and I'm not going to name her because it's really sad. But the effect that it has on women mentally is, or anybody for that matter, is traumatizing. And so took her 4 years, man, to get over that PTSD.
Yeah, some people never get over it for the rest of their lives, unfortunately, and that's why we all have to be respectful and make sure that we mind our P's and Q's and be good human beings. Period.
Don't be an asshole trying to take advantage of people. That's
Right.
That's
You hear that,
exactly
Jeremy?
how I'm gonna tell the kids. I'm gonna tell the little kids just like that little boy.
Don't be an asshole. But yeah, and
Hey,
shout out to Brad.
so check this out. So,
Give him the fist bump. He's a part of the big Daily shows. But go ahead, Ralph.
no, you guys are in Vegas. I'm pretty much in Vegas most of the time, but next week we have Teofimo and Lomachenko. They are going to let 250 people in as a trial run to see if we can start getting fans back inside arenas. Your take on this, because I don't know if it's going to be like Jay Prince and 250 of his folks, or like, if they're going to do managers, but I think it's a step in the right direction, even though COVID's still running rampant. I mean, we got the White House full of COVID and everywhere else full of COVID.
Stuff.
The states are doing record numbers again as far as like relapsing in cases. What do you guys think about this kind of stuff, man? And what do you think about the 250 as opposed to? I mean, it's really weird. You guys have out there, which I saw, which Kenny Craig actually put a post out. They're letting people play soccer, right? They're letting kids play soccer, but they're not letting them play basketball, or they're not letting them play basketball or football, but they're letting them wrestle. Like some weird combination where
it's inconsistent. I think
right,
it's
like,
because
right,
who's
like what is
advocating?
going on out there? So what do you guys think about that 250? I mean, do you think it's the right number? You think they can block off? I mean, every part of the
Jeremy,
world.
does MGM hold 18,000?
Yes.
Like 16.5, 17 something.
Okay.
Yeah, 17,092.
So
I know it because hold on, CC. I'm gonna call Mike out on this. The reason I know it is because it had always been my dream to ring announce in there. And when Pacquiao fought Broner, I got the call to announce in there, and I saw in the background the capacity was 17,092.
Wow.
That's
listed as a pinpoint number, man.
That's why I know it. And I knew I was like, I don't even know what the hell I'm even gonna remember that number. But look, it came in handy today.
Mike Dixon was.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
Stupid. But my point is, it's less than 10%. So I think that the governor has said that it can be 10% of capacity. So if it holds 17,000, that is way less than 10% of capacity. So
I think they're going to do capacity of the conference center, and that's why they came up.
Oh, the conference center.
Yeah, they're staying there. Yeah, they're staying there.
Okay,
they're staying there. Yeah.
Well, hey,
because. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, I was gonna say if it was in Florida, they could just do whatever. I mean,
my gosh.
Yeah, that's why I think
the Dolphins get 65,000 back.
Yeah, I think CC got a call for the impact card November 6th. I think I talked to you about that, and everything is being moved to Florida right now. We got everything, like even Keith Valtteri. They're doing some kind of MMA stuff now. I think.
So Thompson show too.
The Thompson show went to Florida. I mean, and Texas now. That's another reason why the Tank show got moved to Texas, because they're allowing fans. It's crazy, like how all this is working out. But 250, I think, was the max because they were in the conference center.
Do not quote me, but I just want to say, and it's not because I'm a fan of the Dolphins, but I really do respect Stephen Ross and the Miami Dolphins organization, because they are leading the way when it comes to. They were the first franchise or organization to allow fans of 22,000 inside the
And they're
stadium.
gonna be the first to shut down the arena too.
Bro, you're
Nope.
a Dolphins
Kansas
fan.
City,
They'll be the first to
Texans
shut down.
game.
But it's
No positive
different.
test came up in
It's
Miami.
different. The whole state of freaking Florida is a COVID cesspool. Like,
Hold on.
and then you're gonna throw all them football fans in there. Now it ain't. People
Hey.
might have more sense not to
I'm
go.
jumping on this right now. May I interject, Cassandra?
I'm gonna let
This
you
goes back
finish,
to what
but
Jeremy Long said. Florida, when I was with the first show, is its own country when we have now, right? Yeah,
I
check
wish
this out.
it would be.
You know what? I
Well,
have no
secede.
comeback.
Please secede.
Chicas Bonitas. Where's Chicas Bonitas at? Where's that at?
That's
All
the
over.
dirty
Oh, we
thing,
got a breaking news. I'm gonna be like Will Blitzer. Breaking news right now. On the screen, Mike Dixon's first pro fight, December 1st. Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, you know, Ralph, you know Jimmy Smith, right? One of the worst boxers of all time.
Yeah. It's the one that when he got hit, he went like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you guys are crazy, man.
That is beyond whack to say the whole damn arena. And I actually think that the NFL, like, you know, as chicken shit as Goodell is when it comes to the owners, he needs to step in because there's impropriety if you let one owner have all those fans in and not all of them. So I think it's just like everybody should just get a percentage. Like you get 10% can come in, not every damn body.
Just spray Regeneron everywhere. I think we'll be all right. Spray that shit. Regeneron. Yeah.
Pace spacing. You know,
Hey, ain't nobody going to the Dolphins games anyway. You can fucking open the gates for free. Ain't nobody coming to watch that bullshit. Stop it.
We're gonna smash our guard.
Hey, instead of wearing your mask right here, you should be wearing that shit, the bag. The bag.
Yeah. Oh, damn, baby.
All of a sudden, it's the after hours conversation. Foolishness.
No, seriously though, CC, if the 250 works out and we're able to pass that without any problems, I think we're going to be in good shape because
It's
again,
stay 250.
like Jeremy says, these damn Samstown cards are fire, man, and the state is missing out. I'm so itching. I might get a little piece of this Gervonta card in Texas, but I got the email today, man. But if not, then shit. It's sad because we're not doing nothing, and you know, like they had a showbox, a new generation on a Wednesday, trying to force like some action for these fans. It's tough for these guys, man. It's really bad. So I don't know.
I just want boxing to be back with the fans, man, because when we had those fights, just even like last week and with the 8 knockdowns, how many rounds? 5, 7, something like that.
5 rounds.
Yeah, it's like the fans deserve to be there, you know, because even the media, just to see that, man, it gives. You heard David Benavidez, that's what he say, man. Just having fans here when I have a knockdown, it just charges me up, and I just go for the kill, and that would have just been exciting, man, for everybody.
Fans deserve to live and to breathe well. That's what people deserve. People don't deserve an event. People deserve a quality of life. And until we get this virus under control, all that stuff is pipe dreams because we start and we stop. The only organization that's been able to do this consistently is UFC because they've invested a crap load of money in keeping people in the bubble. And there's a reason why you don't see big outbreaks there. Them people don't even make it into. Well, you know what? He got boxes in there.
What's wrong with that dude?
It's cardboard, man. Cardboard gets some.
Oh, you know what? Wanted to say this before we go, actually, because we're running over an hour now. But want to give a special shout out to our girl, the Blonde Bomber.
Yes. What are we doing, CC? I even text you on that.
Finally hooked up with Eddie Hearn and is getting not only a big-time profile fight, but also it's going to be for a world title.
Yes, man.
I tell her I'm going to take credit for that because I've been tagging Eddie Hearn all the time, just starting stuff with Ebony. And I think it's because of that he's decided, all right, let me just get Sports Nisa up off my back and sign her girl.
Shit. as much pull we've been giving you, I need to be announcing that damn fight.
But that Charlo fight. Anybody know what those numbers were?
Yeah, I heard they were like
April.
in the 200,000 range,
No.
40,000.
Anywhere between 75 to 100,000.
I first initially heard 200,000, but I didn't. That was coming from an unknown source early.
Yeah.
So that's what the final numbers were.
Well,
100,000?
they're not going to say. So my source is Kevin Iole on it. So yeah, that's what they're saying. They're never going to say what those numbers are because they're nowhere near
I mean,
what they need to be.
I bet the streaming, the illegal streaming numbers were really high, but
I say.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm not lying.
And I didn't.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Hey. And shout out to my man Donnell Thomas and everybody else. Hey, now we can drink, bro.
I'm drinking.
Came back?
You know what I was drinking? I'm drinking. I went to Dutch Bros like 6 months ago, and I got this pink grapefruit tea. You guys have Dutch Bros out there in Las Vegas?
No, but I love pink grapefruit.
Well, you can send me a bottle.
Shit, you know that because I'll take you a bottle. It's just a pink grapefruit syrup, man, with the iced tea. It's really good, and I can't believe you guys have no Dutch Bros out there. But
maybe so. John popped in and popped out. You have a good weekend too.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, look, man, we got
I want to make this
right here. Just want to throw
announcement.
Our girl.
Yeah.
We got a big announcement from MD. I want to hear that, Mike. What big announcement do you have?
Well, it's not. You said big announcements, but it is. So I want to make this re-announcement because Jeremy and Mike Price, can you tell us about what you guys doing for Raiders and the Black Hole community, their family?
Oh yeah, Tuesdays now here on Facebook you can catch us live. MP and I are streaming the Black Hole Unleashed, which is the official podcast for the Black Hole, which is the Raiders fan base. We actually had our very first show.
Congratulations, man! I heard about that. That's good.
It went really, really well this week. We have a really stacked show. We have not only are we going to highlight our Philadelphia chapter of the Raiders organization, but we're also going to chat with Raider Cody, and we'll also have former UFC light heavyweight champion Forrest Griffin in the mix. So it's going to be really good.
And killed it. Like the numbers out the gate have been awesome.
Yeah, the numbers out the gate have been great. And the support from the Raiders fans and the Black Hole faithful have been incredible. And so we're really excited about what the future holds. And so we'll be streaming. If you haven't,
Cece, we're gonna have an office soon. Then, if that's the case.
We were set up across from Allegiant Stadium last Tuesday.
Yeah,
where the offices are and everything. So we got to get you guys down there and checking everything out. And I know Mike,
you get my TVs too, man. That's an inside joke, everybody. It's an inside joke. It's through a group text.
Yeah, that's
easy.
Just laughing at Mike.
So,
because it was like
the comedy aspect to the show. We all don't know.
Don't ever.
Before we go, guys, I just want to say that again. I want to reiterate how happy I am that I'm with you guys. I want to tell you guys that you guys are wonderful. Mike, we don't really get to see you that often, but your text messages always get me through the day. Jeremy, I really appreciate it. You have a family there, and you take the time out to help us, and in turn, it helps the whole brand. And we have taken to expanding from not only just boxing and MMA, but we're going to start doing, some entertainment guests, and we're going to start bringing some different talents to the show, and it's going to be really good. I mean, you guys that are watching, thank you for the support. 60, thank you for always hitting me up on a Monday, Tuesday with these ideas, and you're so smart when it comes to wanting to make things better and wanting this as a whole. For all of us to have this as our only job, and it's going to get there, guys. You guys are doing a great job. Congratulations on that Raiders thing. That is huge, man. That's huge, and that's only going to benefit everyone. And I'm glad that you guys see it that way, and I appreciate it. and we're gonna support you. And guys, let's just kick ass, man. I don't know if we're doing something next Friday, but if
We had
do,
Kevin Holland on.
And can I say
Wednesday.
thank you to you, Ralph, man, because
Heck
you
yeah.
you do everything, man. You bring the energy. You're constantly promoting, and your content is out there. And just those random text messages, you just bring it back to refocus and remember what we're doing this for. And
yeah, I appreciate it. And you know, like I said, I canceled my own podcast to stay here only because. Thank you, Mercedes. Again, my marketing guru, my better half. She's awesome. Yeah, definitely. She's amazing, man. That's gonna be like we see it. We're revamping a bunch of stuff around the Ralph. It's gonna be really good, and that's the brains behind it right there. So she says, hey man, you need to stay with these guys. It's good. They're awesome. You guys help each other, and I think it's gonna be great. And we're just gonna keep building this, and sky's the limit, guys. You guys
build it up, and now it's silent.
That's right.
So,
That's
hold
right.
on. I'm giving you a quick tour of the Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson, Ali, Raider Nation. And I got all this stuff is inspired from watching the live streams and interacting with you guys. I had this already. I had to pull out the storage unit because like I always seen bro put his sounds like
you know what this is?
Don't get my hands right. And then
this is from
Muhammad Ali.
This
Cassandra has Muhammad Ali. I put up my Mike Tyson because that was my favorite boxer right there.
This is the centerpiece.
You can't see it now.
Did you steal that, Ralph?
You know damn well I took this thing from the centerpiece. Shit. Hey, listen, here's what the deal was with this table. And I don't got a bobblehead, Mike. I'm gonna get one of them soon because now you got me beat. But this has a story behind it. So look. Every table had this centerpiece, right? Of the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame had the little thing right here. It didn't have this, well, because Mercedes looked that up to me.
Good, man.
It had this, right? And so we all sat down at the table, and everybody's like, you know, you guys have experienced a formal dinner with centerpieces and weddings and whatnot.
Yeah, they treated us like stepchildren there.
People get there first and try to take dibs on the centerpiece. So what happened was we all sat down at the same time, and I got Kenny Bayless and his brother in front of me. Floyd's on that side. I got who was the boxer? Badu Jack and his crew. Amir and they were right there on that side. And hold on, guys. Bob Ware. Bob Ware, I want to give you a shout out right now. We live on the podcast. Bob Ware, this is the official cut man for Mayweather Promotions. I'm going to have to call you back, though. I just want to give you a big shout out on the air. All right.
Yeah. Bye.
What's up, Bobby?
That's the man right there. I had to let him in. That guy don't get enough credit, man. He does UFC and keeps his mouth shut. He does top ranked boxing, keeps his mouth shut, and does Floyd stuff, keeps his mouth shut. That guy's a genius, man. Shouts out to Bob Ware. Anyway, real quick before we get cut off. So we're
hold on. Wait. Jeremy had to say something. Show us.
Oh yeah. I have a picture. I have this is Cody Rhodes.
You doing the power bomb or who is that?
Oh, that's AEW. You guys were talking about AEW earlier.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love it.
That's Cody Rhodes putting
very nice.
Christopher Daniels. You see his autograph right here. Christopher Daniels through a flaming table.
Oh,
dude, so Jeremy, you were like deep into wrestling at all. You were deep into wrestling then.
Yeah, I used to run
He was wrestling. And didn't you wrestle at one point?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You used to run your own promo?
Yeah.
He told you this on the second. I want to say the second show, right? When we did our
man, I don't even remember what I did this morning, dude. I don't remember the second show. That's awesome. Why am I missing that? No wonder you know so much about. I'm over here like, damn, this dude's a wrestling fanatic. He's worse than me, but shit, you knee deep in the game. That's awesome.
I know weird things.
AEW thing, bro. The AEW is for real fans, dude. That is changing the game a lot. But
I think it was a Texas flaming table match or something.
That is wild.
Goddamn glitter all over my keyboard.
So CC, make sure you show that to your kids.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna hook them up with the table.
Oh, CT already took them off of wrestling. They can't even watch wrestling no more, man.
Yeah, no, it's monitored. They either get it on Monday or Sunday. You have to choose.
She's I love her like organizational skills. She inspired me to be better as a businessman because as she has everything aligned perfectly.
Meanwhile, I'm standing on books and I got a dinosaur at my foot.
Well, I want to get to the centerpiece story before we go.
Oh, yes.
It's important. You guys understand that I don't
Still
do
got
stuff
you.
like this. Oh, you got the dinosaur.
Still,
Yeah.
it's always a mess at my feet. Something
This is
foolish.
my most prized possession right now in my
We've
home.
gone off the rails here.
I was just gonna say the rails have
Come on.
it's fantastic.
than
Hey,
Kyler
Ralph,
Murray.
you got 60 seconds to finish your story because Jeremy got to go and we're about to get
Okay.
cut.
All right.
Oh yeah, you gotta do the black hole.
Look, so we're in the table. Everybody's eating their meat, but everybody's staring at the centerpiece, right? Everybody's staring at the centerpiece. So like this one lady gets up to like stretch, right? Yeah, I didn't even know who she was, and she goes like this and reaches like stretching and tries to like grab her purse and go like this. And I'll be damned if I just got up and went like this and grabbed the centerpiece.
You
I didn't
stole the
care, bro.
centerpiece from the
There
old
was
lady.
no one getting that fucking centerpiece but me because I did the whole red carpet. I didn't ask for no damn agreement. I did all the interviews like you did, and my ass was sitting way in the back of the last table in the corner. So I was going home with that centerpiece. Shouts out to
Ralph accosted a 63-year-old woman.
And next year, if we do it again, I'm taking it again. How you
I
doing?
want to host next year. I'm gonna put it out in the universe. The next, I want to get on that hosting gig for Nevada
Love y'all.
Boxing.
Good.
Yo.
Jeremy, thank you for letting us go over. CC, thank you for
Shout out to Girl Chess Sports,
Have a
all the
good
ladies
weekend,
from
y'all.
the
five. 0-5. Dolphins 0-5.
That's
Bruh.
family.
Listen.
All right, for
Yeah.
Rambling Ralph,
Uh-huh.
for the Sportsanista, for Mike Dixon. Did he leave? All right, I'm
Yeah.
Jeremy Long. This has been Levels. We'll see you guys next time.
Beep beep.
Listen.